in reality, fear is mostly like a psychological thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that tells you about what has not happened already. Seen people who are so um energetic, who are so out there, who are aspiring to create a difference in the society,
Mm-hmm.
but they are held by fear of rejection. They are they every possible thing that could go wrong, they are thinking about it. But they know the only thing it takes is just that little push, and
Mm-hmm.
you see that skill, you see that achievement blossom.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About This. My guest today is Juliet Agocha. Juliet is an entrepreneur. She's an author who inspires and motivates mentors and help men and women reach their personal and professional goals. She is the author of the inspirational book, 7 Ways to Overcome Fear, and has been featured in many publications and articles where she encourages and self development. Juliet, welcome to the platform. How you doing today?
I am amazing. Thank you for having me today, Crystal.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I had read that you were into books and you like, doing a lot of reading. That's something I had to force myself to do. I'm one of those people who have even when I was in school, I wasn't the type of person I have to be in a mood to read a book, but as far as like being forced to read, some people just love reading,
Hmm.
I'm just now disciplining myself into getting to that. But you also have a book that you had written called 7 Ways to Overcome Fear. And let's get into that book. Let's talk about one of the ways that people who are dealing with uh, fear and taking that next step and coming out of the, going to the next level, because are we get sometimes we can get stuck in the comfort zone,
Absolutely.
and you're comfortable being where you're at, but how do you get over that hump to where you want to say, okay, I want to get out of this comfort zone and take that next step into
Absolutely.
fear?
Fear let's define what is actually fear,
Okay.
right? Because what we don't know, you wouldn't know the solution. So in reality, fear is mostly like a psychological thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that tells you about what has not happened already. So let's say, for example, let's just be very practical because this is an everyday life kind of thing,
Yes, it is.
right?
It is.
So let's say you want to travel.
Okay.
You're planning to travel on Friday. Now, today, you're already thinking about all the things that could go wrong on Friday, but we are still in on Wednesday.
Right.
So now the psychological mind is playing with you, telling you about, oh, I don't think you should do it. I don't think this flight you'll be able to make it. I don't think you have phobia. You have to stop. Like that mind is something telling you
Mm-hmm.
about uncertainty that have not happened. So telling you all the failure
Right. Right.
is a steam, is something that comes from the mind. Is your mind trying to tweak you? Instead of you having faith, you start having fear,
Mm-hmm.
right? So 7 Ways to Overcome Fear is a book, is an inspirational book where I talked about fear limiting us from stepping to where we are supposed to be, to the
Mm-hmm.
place that we are created. Because every single one of us that are created, we are created for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So fear is a block
Mm-hmm.
preventing us from not getting to that purpose.
Mm. Mm. And do you think it has a lot to do with the fact that we don't know what to expect on the other side of of fear, or do you think it's the fact that we don't want the responsibility that comes with leveling up to that next level, because there are responsibilities when you have a purpose in life, and there's things that you have to do. Do you think it's the fact that people just don't want to commit to the responsibility that comes with leveling up to the next level?
It could be two things. Most times, it's not necessary that people don't want to commit, but is the ability to recognize that they are held by fear.
Okay.
Now, there's someone, for example, the person want to open a business, but instead of the person have the zeal, you are excited, you are happy, you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So now, but the person is actually thinking about, I don't have the fund. If I apply for loan, the bank will, I don't have credit, the right credit score. Like the person is already thinking about all the impossibilities. So
Mm-hmm.
in this aspect, it's not about the person being lazy, but it's about the person being limited by a belief, psychological belief in their mind, telling them they're not able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So fear could be, I wouldn't even attribute fear to laziness, because I have seen people who are so um energetic, who are so out there, who are aspiring to create a difference in the society,
Mm-hmm.
but they are held by fear of rejection. They are every possible thing that could go wrong, they are thinking about it. But they know the only thing it takes is just that little push,
Mm-hmm.
and you see that skill, you see that achievement blossom.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is something I have experienced personally
Okay.
in my life. So when I'm speaking about it, it's not just about my academic background, it's not just about my research, it's
Mm-hmm.
about also experience. And experience teaches you things
Right.
more faster than education.
Right. 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 Yeah. Cause with fear, I know for me, uh sometimes I think that, do you think that it has a lot to do with the fact that, you know, um people just feel like, because with fear also could be a fact of finances, being able to, like you said, we think about, people think about all the things that could go wrong before they actually go wrong, and a lot of times things don't even go the way that we think that they might go, you know
Absolutely.
um how do you get over that, because that's really hard to get over for a lot of people. It's really hard for people to get over that, get to that next step, because it's easy to stay comfortable where you're at, but it's hard to
Yes,
just get over that. What good
absolutely.
advice could you give for someone who is dealing with something like that right now at this moment?
My advice for the person is life itself was not designed to be easy,
Right.
because so many people I have mentored so many women and men, young youth, and I found out that so many people think that this thing called success is what we see on social media.
Mm, that's true.
Success on social media is not what success is about.
Mm, that's true.
Is 95% of people on social media doesn't want to share their struggle. So
That's true.
um someone dealing with that, you have to understand first, identify the fear. What are you afraid of?
Hmm.
That is the first step, because what you do not know, you won't have the solution. It won't be able to solve it. And that it comes knowledge.
Hmm.
Your knowledge, wherever the knowledge stops, anyone, including myself, where your knowledge stops, that is where you stop. So we
Hmm.
don't rise above our knowledge. Even the word of the Lord says, my people suffers for lack of knowledge, not lack of money,
Lack of knowledge.
lack of knowledge.
Yep.
That means you need the right knowledge to solve the right problem.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is to identify the problem. You
Mm-hmm.
have to know that it exists because a lot of people live in denial.
That's true.
So the first, once you identify that fear, now let's say it's the finances is holding. The second thing you have to do is recognize that fear is not there to block you, it's not there to limit you.
Mm.
Fear is actually there to push you forward.
Mm-hmm.
So anything you are doing that comes so easy, trust and believe me, 99.9% is not real.
Right. Right. Right.
So now when you identify that fear, then you have to actually now start making your plan. Finances, every single person, even the most billionaire person has financial problem.
Mm-hmm.
Even the American economy has financial problem.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
there is no problem anyone is experiencing today that someone else have not experienced that problem.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is gaining knowledge, the right knowledge to solve that problem. So once you identify the fear, and let's say the person is having financial difficulties, limitation for business. Now, what you have to do is identify, the business you want to go into,
Right.
then research about that business. Know so much, at least know 90% about that business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you present your portfolio, they have to be ready. So
Mm-hmm.
many times people want success without being ready.
Yeah. You have to be prepared. Yeah.
It have to be.
Yeah.
So if somebody, you have to always have your elevation speech.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody, like every place you go to is an opportunity for you to sell your dream.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be prepared. And once you identify that, research in your state, because my state uh, uh, uh precautions or my state rules and regulations and laws could be different from your state. Research, see what is allowed on the place you live, the country you live, the state you live, see what is allowed and what is not allowed for applying for small business loan.
Mm-hmm.
If the credit is your limitation, reach out to people that builds credit. And now things are so easy, unlike before. Like technology have advanced that you could watch one YouTube channel video that will change your life completely.
That's true. Yeah.
So information is available to us.
Yeah, a lot of information is available to us. Anything we need to know, all we have to do is Google it or either go on YouTube and get that
Absolutely.
information. So things are a lot easier than they were in the past. You
Yes.
know, success shouldn't be hard to reach now as it was back in the day, where we didn't have social media and we didn't have, all the information we have now. You're right about that. What are some of the
Absolutely.
effective ways to set and achieve personal goals? Uh, what would you say would be some effective ways for someone to set and achieve their personal goals?
Absolutely. First, you have to make that goal achievable. So, for example, you have $20, but you you want to achieve $5 million at the end of the year.
Right,
Automatically, that goal is not achievable.
right,
I know people believe in miracle is
right.
fine, but I like to be practical, right? So,
Uh-huh.
but then if miracle happen, miracle will become in addition, right?
Right.
So we also have to recognize excuses. So many times people are not afraid, but they give a lot of excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Why I have not done this is because of this. Why I have not done this is because of this. And they just use excuses to surround themselves.
Right.
So the first thing is you have to make a list of what you want to achieve. The
Mm-hmm.
beginning, I'm not the type of person that set this New Year resolution. I'm going to lose weight. No, I don't do all
Yeah,
that.
I don't do that either because I can never stick with a New Year's resolution. I tried that and it just didn't work for me. It didn't work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Right.
recognize your excuses. Now, remove those excuses from your way. Because
Mm-hmm.
what excuses does, it makes you to procrastinate. I will
Mm.
do this, I will do that. Then, when you recognize that, if you are going to register your LLC, go for it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait for tomorrow. If
Right.
the challenge there is you want to further your education, register. Don't think about the whole course. Think about that particular class.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Register for that class.
Mm-hmm.
If your goal is, to establish something, no matter what it is, start small.
Right. Right.
Everyone you see today, even me now here talking with you, if
Mm-hmm.
I tell you when I started, but I'm here now today, right?
Right. Right.
So start small. And so many things, sometimes I hear people, and not even sometimes, most times I hear people say, nobody support me. When you get started, trust and believe me, probably one or half people will support you.
Right.
In the
Right.
beginning, it have
Mm-hmm.
to be consistent.
Yep. That's the
It
key.
have to be consistent.
Yeah.
When
That's
nobody's
that's how
cheering you,
that's true because that's how people ain't gonna take you serious if you're not consistent.
exactly,
People don't want to invest time into someone who's not serious about what they want to do. You gotta want it first, like you said. You gotta want it first, and we gotta stop being our own worst enemies because we could talk ourselves out of things that.
absolutely.
I remember when I started this podcast, because I was a freelance journalist first. So I would go out and do interviews backstage at concerts with different, people in the entertainment industry back in the day. And I remember I said to myself, because I almost talked myself out of doing a podcast, because I said to
Hmm,
myself, man, am I good enough to do this? But
exactly.
then I said, I'm just going to jump out there, hit the record button, and just go.
That is right. That is right. And that is called growth mindset. You have to
Right.
adapt it. There is
Mm-hmm.
there is no way that somebody is going to invest on you if you have not invested in yourself first.
Mm, that's true.
Because I have seen people that said they own business and
Mm,
you go to their, let's say, social media handle. There is nothing about business there. What are you trying to sell to me? What I'm saying there is nakedness with bra, and I don't need that. You
right.
understand what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So you're telling me to help you, and I'm kind of looking into your, let's say, because everything now is social media, right? I'm
Mm,
looking into your handle. What I'm seeing there has absolutely nothing to represent a business.
exactly.
So before we even, this thing called success, there is a lot of background work people
Mm-hmm.
needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
You have to adapt that growth mindset. You have to find valuable insight, plan,
Mm-hmm.
and don't worry about who does not support you, who is supporting you in the beginning. Don't worry about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because time will come where people will not have another choice but to support you, whether
Mm-hmm.
directly or indirectly.
That's true. That's true.
Because when they see the value you are providing, they're no more supporting you as a person, they're supporting the vision that you have.
Mm-hmm.
They're
That's
supporting the problem you are solving.
that's true.
So, but most time people just focus on the beginning is so hard. Of course, it's so hard. That's why we don't have a lot of successful people, because success is not what you see on social media.
Right.
Success is pain.
That right. Right.
Success is tears.
It's a journey.
Success is rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Success has to come from a place of broken hearted.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get to a place whereby you said, man, nobody told me this, but you keep going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing I have to, like, the viewers watching us today. Don't focus on what you see. Focus on you,
Yeah,
building you.
that's true.
The right people will be connected at the right time.
That's true. That's true. Because you're right. Because people focus too much on social media, and you gotta have a one track mind. Because
Absolutely.
I remember at one point I used to be on social media and I used to scroll and well I still scroll. I don't know why I say used to scroll, but I used to spend my time watching other people's success on social media, and I had to stop doing that because um not only was I wasting time,
Mhm.
uh, but I was also not getting anything accomplished for myself. So I had to say, you know what, let me stop watching what everybody else is doing and just focus on what I'm doing, you know.
Absolutely.
And and that keeps that keeps me consistent as to and keeps me consistent with doing the things that I got to do. But it's like you said, social media plays a big part, and
It does.
procrastination. People will, you can waste a lot of time on social media.
Oh, yes.
You
Oh,
can, that
yes.
time that you spend all, like I use it now just for business purposes, and then I'm off of it. At one point I used to spend a lot of time on there, but you have to, because it's easy to do. It's easy to do.
Absolutely.
It is really easy to do. I mean, because it's like a drug. You can, the first thing we do when we get up is we grab our cell phone. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's purpose.
Mhm.
If you are there because you have your broadcast through this media, through this platform, people will know your broadcast.
Right.
I'm there. I sell my book. I'm
Mhm.
a motivational speaker. People book me through there.
Mhm.
So, what is the purpose? Everything in life comes down to your purpose. Why do you want to be successful?
Right.
Why do you want to break the chain?
Mhm.
Why do you want to live paycheck to paycheck? Why?
Mhm.
Everything comes down to the purpose. What is the purpose? Oh,
Mhm.
I want to be rich. I want to be successful so that people will know my name. That is not a purpose.
Right.
But I want to create a difference. I don't want things I went through, my strategies, I want to share with the public.
Mhm.
I want to teach people. If something took me 30 years, I don't want the next person taking 30 years. I want the
Right.
next person taking at least 3, 4 years to accomplish it.
That's true.
So, and another thing is we need to visualize our goals. This
Mhm.
is one thing about me. I
Mhm.
know what I want to do.
Mhm.
I identify the problem I want to solve.
Mhm.
Visualize your goals so much that you can actually overcome it in your mind because
That's
it
true.
starts with the mind.
Mhm. That is so true. Yep. And I think a lot of people had worry about being judged too. That's one of the
Absolutely.
things you gotta. Me, I don't really care. I'm one of those people. I don't care what people say, think, or whatever. That never paid my bills. That never gave me a paycheck.
Absolutely.
So you know, and you kind of prepare yourself for leveling up too, because with success comes negativity. People want to judge you or give a false narrative about you or create these stories. You have to prepare yourself for these things too,
Yes.
you know
Yes.
because we see it every day, on social media, where we see false stories and things being said by different people. So you really
Mhm.
have to have a tunnel vision, like you said, and just focus on you and what you got to do. I like what you said about that, because that's definitely true. I have another
Thank
question.
you.
I wanted to know, how can self-reflection contribute to personal growth and development, because we live in a world, again, talking about social media, where
Hmm.
we people point the fingers and find things about other people, but we don't really find the things about our own self. uh
Absolutely.
so how can self-reflection contribute to personal growth too, when you can focus on yourself and stop focusing on what somebody else is doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the mirror, what does the mirror do? The mirror show us ourselves,
Yeah.
which is self-reflection. You
Mhm.
have to you have to know who you are. Don't try to talk yourself out of who you are. No.
Right.
If you are failing, you know. If you are succeeding, you know.
Right.
So self-reflection is something that we have to look into ourselves and
Mhm.
said, who is Juliet? Who am I? It's not
Mhm.
about what people it's not about how people defined you. It's how
Right.
you defined yourself.
Mhm.
You have to define yourself. Who am I? Am I who this person said I am? No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So when we come to that self-reflection, we see, okay, am I doing what I'm here for? Am I actually doing what I'm supposed to do? Am I finding joy in what I do?
Mm-hmm.
Because I have seen people that are doing something that is completely not their calling,
That's
is
true.
not their mandate.
Right. That's true.
So now I'm seeing you here. You are successful in this podcast. Now I said, you know what, boom, I'm going to open my podcast. No, but I don't
Right.
have the skills. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So this self-reflection is something that tells you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It shows you who you are. Now, but it's not showing you to draw you back.
Right.
It's showing you to help you develop that skills.
Mm.
It benefits us career-wise. If
Right.
you're not performing well at job, you look at yourself, reflect. Am I being stressed?
Right.
Don't try to cover your flaws.
Mm.
People cover flaws. Make people understand that you are a human. That is how I am. I
That's
make you understand if you are expecting a perfect guest,
right. Right.
it's
That's
totally
right.
not going to happen.
That no, not at all. That's true. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So self-reflection is not there to prevent us, limit us. It's actually there to enhance our self-development.
That's true.
Because when you identify that place you're lacking, maybe you get angry easily.
Mm-hmm.
You reflect, okay, I think I could handle this. So next time when something is about to trigger you off, you hold back, you don't speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand? And maybe the challenge is maybe partner or relationship. You know, like three have failed already. Then when you
Right.
have the next person, reflect what failed the other three.
Mm-hmm. So we
Now
can
use the
work on
exactly
ourselves. Yeah.
lesson learned. So
Yeah.
self-reflection is not there because a lot of time people reflect and that hold them back. They feel like, you know what is the need for me to even try again? What is the need for me to even go further? What is and then they give up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Self-reflection is not for limitation, it's for our personal development, it's for our enhancement, it's for us to learn, it's for our own benefit.
That's so true. Oh, I'm glad you said that because, I learned so much on this podcast when it comes to your mental health and your awareness because sometimes we a lot of times we don't think about the things we need to work on within ourselves.
Absolutely.
We are so quick to point the finger at somebody else and no, you're wrong. Though that person, we quick to blame everybody else, but we are not as quick to take responsibility for our own actions and the things that we
Absolutely.
need to work on within ourselves. And that's what I've been
Yeah.
doing lately. I've been working on myself and it's helped me um it keeps me from being triggered by certain things you
Mhm.
know and that came from educating myself and learning about
Yeah.
things of that nature and setting boundaries and stuff like that. But I'm glad you said that because people need to work on themselves more so than anything and stop blaming people for you know, and this is the world we live in, unfortunately.
Exactly. Yes. And absolutely. And also recognize your own strength and weakness.
Mhm. Mhm.
That is self-development. You have to recognize your own limitations because we all have limitations. We all have weaknesses. We have
That's
our strengths.
mhm.
So when we fail to recognize our weakness, but then recognize our strength,
That's true.
what how do we work on the weakness?
Mhm. That is so
So we have to also know that our strength is there, but we also have things that we continuously on daily basis working on.
mhm.
Recognize those things, and when it doesn't have to take us to a place of denial or a place of isolation or a place of pain or no, it's
Mhm.
just you knowing that you know what, man, I'm tired, I can't do this.
Right.
So we have to
Exactly.
recognize our weakness as much as we recognize our strengths.
That is so true. Yeah. Yeah, because like you said, it just makes us a stronger person when we work on ourselves. You know,
Absolutely.
it makes you a better person, you know. So but what role does a mindset play in achieving success in personal development? What would you say what role does the mindset play?
I have to, the mind is actually the center of the whole process. Before we achieve anything, and I'm talking from from the perspective, even my book, I talked about the mind,
Mhm.
um, both academically research experience. So I'm speaking from all these aspects. Before you achieve anything, the mind process it.
Mhm.
So our mind work with an image. So
Okay.
for example, we want to create this successful life. In your mind, there is an image you are looking into,
Mhm.
an imaginary image, right?
Mhm.
So it process in the mind, just the same way failure happens. The failure, before somebody fails, they
Mhm.
process failure in their mind.
Mhm.
So our mindset is everything.
Mhm.
That's why you could see someone saying something as another person is misunderstanding what the person is saying, the mind.
Mhm.
I could be sounding A, another person, you are hearing A, the other person is hearing B, the other person is hearing C, the mind.
Mhm.
The mind controls the entire process. You have to set your mind, you have to maintain a healthy mindset.
Mhm. Mhm.
You have to put your mind on check
Right.
every day.
Right. That's
How
true.
am I processing something? Always. So you have to make sure that your mind is set to a place that the mind is trying to talk you out because the mind process it, then you reason it, the image flash, then the mouth says it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So now when you are processing, for example, I'm here now thinking about, oh gosh, I'm going to miss my flight if I don't get to the airport on time, right?
Right. Right.
Is the mind playing me, telling me that if I don't get to the airport on time, I could miss my flight. Is the mind. Then the
Mhm.
mouth say it.
Mhm.
But now if I program my mind to make me know that, no, I have 30 minutes, I won't miss the flight, the
Right.
mind will reprogram again. It's
Right.
a psychological balance.
Right. Right. Right.
So now the
Mhm.
mind plays a lot of roles. When you see people where they are,
Mhm.
successful or not successful, is the mind.
Mhm.
When somebody, you are working on something, somebody criticizes what you're doing and you take it personal, is the mind. Is the mind that processes it, interprets it to the brain. The brain tells you, oh, why did she say that? The
Mhm.
mind. So if anyone could control their mind,
Mhm.
they can, the sky is not even their limit.
That's true.
And that is one of the things I worked on myself.
Mhm.
I can take good criticism, bad one, ugly one, tiny ones. The fact is, I don't even care.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
the mind.
Exactly. You don't care and you don't take it, you don't take it serious because people are going to people are going to be negative. People are going to find we expect that, you know. So when you
Exactly.
expect certain things, your mind is powerful. It's very powerful.
Very powerful
Yeah,
tools. It's either help you, build you, or breaks you.
that's true.
So that's why you just have it, just anyone listening today, the mind, control your mind,
Mhm.
control what you process, control what you look, control what you take in.
Mhm.
Because the moment the eyes, even the eye sees it,
Mhm.
until the mind processes. That is why you could meet somebody
Mhm.
today
Mhm.
and you can't recognize the person tomorrow. It's because the mind did not process it.
Mhm.
You understand? And
Mhm.
also, you could go to, let's say, your favorite restaurant, and the way they treated you was amazing. The mind shows you an image of good. Then
Mhm.
you start processing, oh, you know what? This weekend, I'm going back there. The mind.
Mhm.
So if anyone can control their mind, can control what they process, can control what they take in, and it comes from what you are listening to
Mhm.
majority of time.
Mhm.
Because it can be listening to negative talk and you are expecting your mind to process positive things.
That's true. That is.
So anyone that could control how they process information, their mind, and what they hear,
Mhm.
trust and believe me, success is beyond achievable for that person.
Yes, it really is, and I'm glad you spoke about that because, you know, we have to be careful of the things that we engage in, or any kind of negative talk or negative people or negative atmosphere. You really, like you said, you really have to have a tunnel vision. Even things that we watch, even television and music, when you take in those things, because some people react off of things that they see and hear, like you
Yes,
said, people will react off of that stuff. So you really do have to be careful of what you take in, as far as
absolutely.
processing. That is a very good point. I'm so glad you brought that up. You bring up some good points. I'm telling you, boy. I have another question too. I wanted to know
Yes,
how does self awareness contribute to personal development and relationships? uh you know um how does that, because sometimes when we're not aware of our actions and the things that we do, or we are not educated and don't have the tools, we tend to do things that can really screw up our relationship or friendship or marriage, or whatever. um Self-awareness is very, that's why I always talk about self-awareness, because it's so important to be aware of yourself and
absolutely.
your faults, your judgments, your bad behaviors, and
Mhm.
adjusting and learning about that. How does that self-awareness contribute to personal development in your um opinion?
Absolutely. Self-awareness. What is self-awareness? Is you recognizing, like we said, your limitation, recognizing your flaws,
Mhm.
your errors. So, and how can that help us to build relationship?
Right.
Is because we don't stop learning.
Mhm.
Never stop learning.
Not at all.
The moment someone think they know it all or they are so perfect, now it becomes a hindrance.
Mhm.
Learning is very essential, and it doesn't have to necessarily be educational learning, enrolling back to school, or yes, it's amazing, but also life in general
Mhm.
is a school.
Yeah, that's true.
So we have to be aware of our own challenges.
Mhm.
We have to be aware of our own limitations.
Mhm.
Now, when let's say, and we have to recognize that people are not perfect.
That's true.
We have to be open to criticisms. A lot of people are not open to criticisms in
Mhm.
the relationship, in a job. Now, I'm not talking about somebody just, always poking on you, because you know the difference
Yeah,
between
that's harassment.
it's,
You know the difference.
exactly. You know the difference between somebody trying to get you fired and
Right,
somebody trying to make you to get to a different level where you are. So
right.
you have to actually recognize those things. Know that the other person is not perfect. You have
Right.
to come in the middle somewhere.
Mhm.
It's about compromise.
Mhm.
It's about sacrifice.
Right.
Today, what do we have in the world? Nobody wants to sacrifice. Nobody wants to build.
Right.
Everybody wants to just come in like it's already made.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's not, you have to build, you have to start from that pain, that
Yeah.
place of nobody supporting you. You have to come from that place that you asking yourself, like, did I really hear well that I can do this? Like,
Right.
okay, I'm about to, you have to come to that place. So now
Mhm.
that's self-reflection. When you come to that point where you see yourself as, I think I'm wrong on this thing. No, I think I'm wrong. When you come to that place of never stop learning,
Mhm.
continuous learning. You can
Mhm.
see where you are lacking.
Mhm.
You don't need anybody even to tell you. We know. Your spirit will convince you.
That's
You will
true.
know. Yes.
That is so true.
So, so
Mm-hmm.
your conscience immediately will tell you, okay, I think I got this wrong. So
Yeah.
that help us build a lasting relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That help us build partnership in business.
Yeah.
That help us because from that self reflection, that place you start when you start being vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
people understand now that she is a human, he is a human.
Mm-hmm.
Now it creates room for trust.
Mm-hmm.
Trust start establishing from that trust, loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
People start building loyalty on you. Your partner start building that trust, start building that loyalty. But it
Mm-hmm.
has to come from a place of you yourself. It has to start with you
Mm-hmm.
yourself, learning that you know what, I have to adapt to changing situations. I
Mm-hmm.
have to adapt to things that I'm not comfortable with. I have to learn.
Mm-hmm.
We don't stop learning. Anybody that stops learning, we stop we
Yeah,
stop improving.
that's true. That is so
Even with myself, I am so humble for my 5 year old or 1 year old or 3 year old to teach me.
true. Mm-hmm.
But you will say, but you have all these certifications, you have all these degrees. Yes, because I could learn something from a 1 year old
Right.
because I'm still learning.
Yeah, life is a learning thing. You always gonna learn
Awesome.
something. You're gonna learn something new.
Awesome.
Yeah, every day you're gonna learn something new because we don't know
Every
everything.
day.
When we think we know it all, that's when we find out later we don't.
Oh, yes.
That's when you find out later you don't. You be like, oh, okay. So life is like you said, it's all about learning.
It's
And
about learning.
and
It's about being open.
right, exactly.
Yes, be open. Be open to other people's opinion. Be
Mm-hmm.
open, but know who you're getting the opinion from. Because this actually, let me talk about that. That has two sides,
Right.
right? Learning from others. Because you want to learn from somebody
Mm-hmm.
that is where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because so many people, I found that some people can also talk you out of your plane, out of
Mm,
your plan,
that's
and
true.
out of your goals.
Mm-hmm.
Because their limitation, they want to reflect their own limitation on you.
That's true. You got to be careful
So
who you get.
because
Yeah, and that's one thing I always do is be careful who I get advice from because
exactly,
you can't tell me, like, for instance, you can't tell me how to be rich if you ain't rich, or
right,
you can't tell me how to buy a house if you ain't buy a house, or
exactly.
I have to see the evidence. I ain't going
The
by what I see or
evidence.
yeah. I don't want to see nothing on social media. I need to see for myself.
Exactly, exactly. Because so many times people said they're learning. My question is, who are you learning from?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to be learning from somebody that is going from a whole different plan, a whole different goal, a whole different path
Mm-hmm.
from where you are heading to. And you
Mm-hmm.
see, listening to wrong advice, listening to wrong counseling, and at the end of the day, they stop maybe below where the person stopped. So whoever
Mm-hmm.
you're learning from
That's
better
true.
be somewhere higher than you.
That's true. That is so true. Yeah, that's something that you really, really have to, like you said, you have to pay attention to because everybody ain't giving you the great advice. They not giving
Exactly.
you a great. I've read something in the book where I can't think of. Dang, I can't even think of the name of the book. But in the book, they said that sometimes people can teach you freedom, but not freedom itself,
Yes.
which is true.
Mm-hmm.
People, because you got to remember, that's a business too in itself.
Absolutely.
It's a business
Yes.
in itself. Everybody's trying to make money or find ways to build an audience off of not freedom itself, but they would tell you how to get free or how to
Mm-hmm.
make this money, but they're not telling you actually, okay, how did you get that? Let's get
Yes.
into let's dig deep. I want to know
Yeah.
how did you get that house? All right. Don't
Right.
tell me, I need to go see a realtor or whatever the case may be. I need to see all
The practical.
the practical part of it. Exactly.
Yes. Real life scenario.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I have to see. Yep. But
Mhm.
so what does practicing and this is a conversation I had with a person who's going to be on a podcast next week, and we talked about. She said that gratitude was
Mm,
something that people should really pay attention to. How can mindfulness? Um, I wanted to say something about gratitude. I forgot what it was. So how could gratitude help someone who may be suffering with the lack of not having things? Because sometimes people feel like uh we live in a world where everybody wants a materialistic world,
mhm,
where
mhm,
everybody wants all the that people seek mat- material things as a form of happiness. How
mhm.
could what could you tell somebody out there who's actually suffering with that feeling about having gratitude, you know, with the things that you already have? Because we
Absolutely.
because sometimes we can forget about what we already have now, rather than focusing on the things we don't have. So what
Mm,
advice could you give somebody about that?
I love that. I was just smiling when you were asking it because that is actually on my next book.
That's in your next
So
book?
yes, because
Okay.
my next book, my next book was supposed to drop March, but I'm pushing it for because it's still under professional editing. So
Okay.
yeah, So gratitude is one of the greatest tools that a lot of people overlook.
Mm, that's true.
Gratitude, whether it's by text, email, your heart, regardless of where it's coming, the channel, gratitude is one of the greatest tools that a lot of people overlook.
Mm-hmm.
If you check anyone that is successful today, there is an atom of gratitude in them.
Mm-hmm.
There is an atom of gratitude either to someone higher than them, either to God Almighty, either to something.
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude opens doors that prayers cannot.
That's true. You hit that right on the
When you,
button. Repeat that again.
yes,
Repeat that again. I like that.
gratitude opens doors that prayers cannot.
That's true. Yep.
So many people, we live in a world where people want to take, take, take.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment they take, they forget they have taken. They want to come back when that one is exhausted. They come
Mm,
back.
that's true.
It's only few people that tap into the blessings of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
So even let's not even talk about material things. Let's talk about spiritual things now.
Okay.
When we wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is, Lord, thank you for this day.
Mm-hmm.
That opens doors that eyes cannot see.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
When you wake up and said, ah, I did not have to, I did not have to hold the sky. I did not have to make anything to happen. I just wake up and I saw a bright new day.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how Heavenly Father feels knowing that you appreciate that? Now let's come down now to material things, physical things.
Mm-hmm.
When someone, regardless, it doesn't have to be money. When someone show you any type of kindness, the best thing, anyone listening to me today, if you are not practicing it, please, this has opened so much doors for me personally as Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could be like this, people reach out to me and said, hey, what are you working on? I want you back on my radio. I want you back on my podcast. I want you back on this. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because of what? That is a level of gratitude I show
Mm-hmm.
to people. I don't, regardless of how small or big that favor is, I am going to show you that I appreciate you. That is it.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyone that is not practicing that covenant of gratitude, you are missing a lot.
Yep.
I
Mm-hmm.
have come across people, I don't even need anything. All I'm going to write them is, thank you so much. I was just going by and I saw something that you wrote. Thank you so much. I just wanted to, in case you ever read this message, I just wanted to say thank you for your contribution.
Mm-hmm.
I have sent an emails, countless of that. I woke up in the morning and I just grabbed my phone and said, oh, well, it doesn't have to necessarily relate to me. I just watched something. I said, man, I love this. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe I know the person or the person I have the contact. I run across your things and I love what you are doing. Keep going. This is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The power of I can't wait to release my next book now.
Yeah.
The power of gratitude.
Yeah,
So many people overlook that.
they do.
When you appreciate someone for the little they did, they
Yeah.
are motivated, they are happy to
Yep.
do more.
Mm-hmm. That is
So
so
if
true.
you listen to this podcast today, if there is nothing you have gained, please practice gratitude. Practice it. It does not only help you to develop personally
Mm-hmm.
as an individual, it helps cultivate a culture there, an environment of peace,
Yep.
environment of peace
Mm.
within you.
That's so
Be
true.
grateful for what you have. Be grateful for you see that 1 bedroom apartment. Be grateful for it. You see
Mm-hmm.
that car. Be grateful for it. You
Mm-hmm.
see that broken marriage. You don't know what God saved you from. Be grateful for it. Whatsoever it is, no matter how small it is, be grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Show gratitude.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yep. That is so true. Yeah, it does give you a sense of peace of
Yes,
mind, because
absolutely.
we like we were going back before we was talking about social media, how we see um people on social media who are successful, and you get people, and there's nothing wrong with having success,
Yes,
at all. I don't want people to get the wrong idea about what I'm saying, but we have to, like you said, we have to be grateful for the things that, even if you're not at that successful level yet,
yes,
it gives you a peace of mind being grateful for where you're at, because you can and it also helps you look forward to being at that next level. you know
absolutely. Yes.
you look forward to that,
Yes.
and instead of being down because you don't have a mansion or whatever the case may be.
Mhm,
You know
mhm.
in your mind you're going to get a mansion.
Yes.
you know I'm grateful for what I got now, but I'm going to buy me a mansion.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta
right.
have that mindset or whatever the case
Yes.
may be. That's the thought that the things that, not to say I would want a mansion because I don't need nothing that big. But anyway, I'm a simple person, so
Yeah.
I don't need nothing too big or whatever the case may be. But yeah, like you said, gratitude plays a big part in our life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It really
Yes.
does. It
Is
really
something that we should never overlook because
mm-hmm,
at the end of the day, what you are grateful for will multiply.
mm-hmm,
So if you are grateful for this person and you look at their success, because remember, the
mm-hmm.
success you see from another person is actually from a place of their own sweat,
That's
a
right.
place of their own pain.
That's right.
So what you appreciate,
Mm-hmm.
appreciate.
That's true.
What you depreciate,
Mm-hmm.
depreciate.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
gratitude is one of the things, it unlocks so many doors.
That is so true. Yes, it is
It
so true.
unlocks so many doors.
Mm-hmm.
Someone could just be and remember how grateful you were to them and they just favor you.
Right. That's
No
true.
matter how your mood, you see, that one of the things I always press is, Lord, help me that when my mood is nasty, don't let me send the next message.
You might say nothing that you didn't want to say. That's
Protect
so
me,
true.
protect me when my mood is nasty.
Right.
Protect me. So,
Yeah.
so gratitude is one of the greatest tools that
Uh-huh.
opens immediate doors of success.
Right. Yep. That is so true. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad we touched on that because, it might be some people out there who are listening who don't take gratitude as a way of being appreciative of what you already have, because you might it might be some people out there down and they might be feeling down because they don't have this or they don't have that. But you gotta, like you said, you have to be grateful for the things that you already have. and
Yes.
and then because you have in your mind, okay, I know I'm gonna get to that next level,
Yes.
but let me appreciate what I have now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate the life.
Mm-hmm.
The like so sometimes we are so focused on the big success, the small success, that does
Right.
we forget something. Life.
That's true. That's
Life
true.
just keep going by because we want to achieve. Enjoy the moment.
Right. Because that's all we have right now.
That's all we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
You could see someone like 7 days a week, they go to work.
Mm-hmm.
They are thinking about this family, job, car, this and that. But the moment they get sick,
Mm.
the only thing they pray for is not a job.
That's
I
true.
have never seen someone on the hospital bed and said, Lord, heal me so I can go back to my job.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't even remember the job.
That's true. All you thinking about is getting better.
I just want to get better. Look, I don't belong here. I want to go home. I don't,
Ooh.
you understand? You see, that is how quick life goes by.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have to be grateful for this life. Every day for me, I know they
Right.
just celebrated the Valentine, but
Right.
every day for me is a lover's day. I'm in love with myself.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm the same way. I was, and I'm recovering from an injury that I
Mm,
had, and it's been 2 years of that I'm recovering, and where I almost lost my life in an
God.
accident. So I really appreciate every day I get up and I just thank God and I say, God, thank you for giving me this day because it could have been my last day here on earth.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I feel like God said, okay, no, it's not your time. I have something for you to do. I have a
Yes.
purpose for you to do, and this is how I found my purpose through recovering,
Mm,
and mental health because I had to
yes.
deal with mental health issues too, so God is good. You just have to,
He
like you said,
is.
yes, God is good all the
He
time. I
is
tell you,
all the time.
yes,
And he's always on time.
always on time.
Always on time. Even
Mm-hmm.
when we think we are experiencing delay, God
Mm-hmm.
is on time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When we think it's not working out, God is on time.
That's right.
When we think we don't have it all, we don't get it, we think we are failing,
Right.
He's on time.
Yep.
We just got to depend on Him. We
That's
need to
right.
just put that total depend on Him, on His ability, on
Yep.
His name,
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's true.
but I love that you brought that out, that gratitude. My goodness.
Yeah, gratitude is important. I
It
had this
is.
conversation with a guest the other day on the podcast, and we talked about. She said that that's how what got her through the things that she was going through was practicing gratitude.
Mm,
And she said she would get up. She said that, what did she say? She said she would write down the things that she was grateful for, and
mm.
that helped her get better mentally every day, but we miss that sometimes. We miss that, we miss gratitude, so
We
gratitude is
do.
very important. But
And I think it's like we're looking at the material things.
right,
We focus so much on material things,
that's true.
but we overlook the spiritual things.
Mm-hmm.
And I will guarantee you that the spiritual things are more powerful than the physical and the material things.
Mm,
You see that peace you have. There are many people that have money, they don't have it.
that's true. Peace of
See
mind
that peace of
always.
mind.
Yes, it's the most valuable thing in the world. I
The
always
more,
say that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So when we think about gratitude, when we think about showing our faithfulness is not just about the physical things that we see.
Mm-hmm.
Each day you wake up in the morning is a new opportunity to get it right.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So never leave a day without gratitude.
Ah, that's a good way. That's a good way to. That's a good way to end this podcast. I tell you, gratitude. I hope y'all heard that. Gratitude is so important. And Juliet, I want to thank you again for coming on and sharing so much information. Let the audience know where they can find your book, Seven Ways to Overcome Fear. Where could people find your book? Uh,
Thank you so much for having me. I had amazing time.
I did too.
Please go to Amazon, type in Juliet Agucha, and you'll see my book, Ingram and Bonza Nobles, or just Google Juliet Agucha. Like, it's so many places you can buy it.
Yeah, and
You
the
can
link will
also,
it'll be down in the end of this interview, so you guys
awesome.
are you guys will be able to hit that link and go directly to get that book. Please go out and support Julia and get this book, Seven Ways to Overcome Fear. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. So
Right.
you guys, you make sure you get that book. And Juliet, I want to thank you again for coming on and giving out some insightful information and tools that people could use to apply to themselves. Even myself, every day is every day I'm learning something and I'm growing and I learn so much from experts and people like yourself. So I really appreciate you for coming on and thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. And for the audience, make sure y'all tune in each week, Friday at 7 o'clock. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that button because the more you subscribe, the more experts I can bring on to the platform like Juliet. And on that note, you guys have a blessed day and talk to you next week. Thanks
Yes, talk
again,
to you. Bye
Juliet.
bye.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. You're welcome.